It is estimated that more than 25 million people in sub-Saharan Africa are living with AIDS. It is one of the most critically affected areas in the world, and the associated death toll has left millions of orphans in its wake. 10 years ago, Canada's Stephen Lewis Foundation launched a multinational campaign that sought to help in a very direct and personal way. It's called Grandmothers to Grandmothers. And to explain how it works, we welcome Mariam Mulindwa. She is a Ugandan grandmother and volunteer with the Phoebe Educational Fund for AIDS Orphans. Regina Dongo, a Zimbabwean grandmother and volunteer with the Movambo Trust. Ida Nambeya Mukuka, a Zambian-based consultant to the Stephen Lewis Foundation. And Joanne Page, a Canadian grandmother and member of the Grandmothers to Grandmothers campaign here in Ontario's capital city. And I am delighted to welcome everybody here to our studio tonight. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Ida, I want to start with you. Tell us about what Grandmothers to Grandmothers is all about.
The Grandmothers to Grandmothers of the Stephen Lewis Foundation is there to actually support our communities in Africa affected by HIV and AIDS, or to strengthen the communities. We are talking about a situation where HIV and AIDS came and devastated our communities. It traumatized our communities. There was no love, there was no peace. And our mothers had already been bringing us up in the midst of poverty. But then HIV and AIDS came and started to kill the people that are supposed to take care of their children. And at the end of the day, the job was again taken over by the grandmothers to be able to take care of the grandchildren. And so the campaign over the last 10 years has helped to rebuild our communities back. We can now see love. We can now see that grandchildren are going to school. We can now see that the grandmothers are, at least they are relieved from some of the burden that they've had.
Joanne Page, I want to know how you got involved in this. I know your son was involved in this. Some people may know him. He sings pretty well.
Yes.
Stephen Page. Okay, tell us how you got involved.
I got involved through my son when York Region was doing a campaign called If I Had $1 Million. We'd help it to ease the pain of HIV and AIDS in Africa. He told me about the campaign starting in Toronto area with the Stephen Lewis Foundation, and that it had already started in Vancouver. So I became interested, gave Alana a call to say, what can I do? How do I become involved?
Alana is Stephen Lewis's daughter?
Daughter, correct. And in 2006, when the first gathering was happening in Toronto, I was there. I was able to participate and fully loved every minute of it, cried constantly, learned lots, and have stayed with it ever since.
Miriam, tell me about your organization. What does it do?
Yeah, thank you so much, Presenter. Now my organization is Phoebe Educational Funding Organization for Vulnerable and Orphaned Children by AIDS. This is an organization, a community-based, that is really bridging the gap between a parent who passed away and now a grandmother is reparenting. And again, we have to see that these organizations are just bringing us together to see that our voices are heard, to see that they are even putting us in a position to be leaders through trainings, through partnering with the government programs and everything, so that we also come on board as grandmothers.
How many grandmothers do you know who now find themselves being mothers again?
Oh, we are so many. We are so many. Maybe it would have been that those who are in the program, maybe in the community-based organization that I'm dealing with, but there are really many, because when it comes to HIV and AIDS pandemic, it is really worse in Africa. And mostly, if I talk about Uganda, this is something that has destroyed our mentors. We are just displaced. Other people are just, you see, others are even committing suicide because it is too much and too much and too much. So these organizations, really, the community-based organizations, in conjunction with the Stephen Lewis Foundation, that's how we are receiving life. We are regaining, but we were no more.
Regina, tell me about your organization. And we should say first, this is your first time ever on television, right?
Yeah.
So congratulations.
Yes.
Good. We're happy to have you here.
Yes. I can say Movambo Trust helps us very hard because of HIV and AIDS, it was too much. Grandmothers, children, our grandchild, they were going to the beer halls to go and drink beer. Then Mawambo came. They started to give us so that we can go and see those people, talk to them, put them in groups so that we teach them that they mustn't go everywhere.
What did they give you? What did they give you that enabled you to make things better?
Yeah, they gave us skills.
Skills.
Yeah. We've got many skills, what we are doing. And then we group them. Then we go and teach. There are so many teenagers, now they are doing the job to teach others. And the grandmothers, they are there. There are men, grandmothers, who are teaching. And we do follow up to them.
Okay. I appreciate that we're going to have to ask some uncomfortable personal questions here, but we don't want to pry, but we do want to understand, Ida, better what you're all about here. Yeah. So tell us how AIDS has affected your family.
Personally, I lost my husband and my brother in 2000, buried within 6 months, and I was left to actually bring up my 2 girls and 1 adopted son. I am HIV positive as well. And so the journey hasn't been a good journey. It's also been a good journey in some way, but also it's been traumatic in some way. So
how
it's
is your
not
health?
been any. My health is good, as you can see me. I'm okay. I'm taking antiretroviral drugs, and I work as a consultant for the Stephen Lewis Foundation. I'm actually the one that goes on the ground to visit all these grandmothers. When we are talking about Miriam's organization, Pay4, I've been there several times. I've experienced trauma with them. I've seen when things have changed for the last 10 years. I've danced with them, and I've had hope as an African woman living with HIV and AIDS and said, wow, in 10 years, we've achieved so much. We see the grandchildren going to school. We now see them even having space to do something. Before, when you went to the communities, these grandmothers wouldn't do anything. Even a garden, they couldn't realize they had space to do gardening. But now, over the last 10 years, with the support that has gone on to the ground, we can see grandchildren going to school, having uniforms, and now the grandmothers are like, oh, I have space, I can actually do gardening and contribute to my grandchildren. I've also visited Mabambo, Regina's organization in Zimbabwe, several times, and I've also experienced everything that they are talking about. And so the communities within the last 10 years, working with the foundation, these community-based organizations have achieved a lot. And so I'm very happy. It's not just living with HIV and AIDS. Actually, I put my HIV and AIDS there and move on
You
with
put it
my
aside.
life. Yes.
How old are your children?
My firstborn daughter, actually, I'll tell you that she's 22 years. And these are some of the things that I thought in my life I would never realize. But I'll tell you that my daughter, she's a third-year law student at University of Zambia.
Fantastic.
And my second-born daughter, she's actually going to be doing development studies. And my son also is going to university. So these are the dreams we wanted to realize, to have. As a person living with HIV, I said, how long will I go? But now I don't even say, how long will I go? I'm like, how far am I going to go? I really want to make sure my children finish school. I always joke with my daughter and say, you know what? You be the lawyer and you are my pension. And I know that.
That's a funny way to put it. Miriam, I'd like to know how AIDS has affected your family.
Wow, with me, it is really, if I flash back, sometimes I fail to explain really. But because I want some of the people to know, and through experience, I've seen that some grandmothers and young girls, when I talk about my experience, they say we grow firm. So I'm forced to do it. As you've said, AIDS first affected me just right from the family where I was born. Because there is when I experienced AIDS is there. Because the way it punished the family, my sister had to die of AIDS, but we were the ones nursing.
How old was your sister when she died of AIDS?
She was something like 35, between 35 and 40. She was a teacher. For us, we've experienced that, and as soon as you test and they find that you're positive, it's divorce, straightforward. You go to your parents because they are there to nurse you. Nobody to nurse you in your marital home.
Yes.
And again, you carry the whole family, because my sister carried the children. She had four.
Four children?
4 children. She had to carry them up to our point.
Is her husband in the scene?
No.
So what happened to those 4 children?
Those 4 children are just brought up by my mom. And only the 4 children don't think about those ones. But again, in Africa, there is a tendency of people to own us. Our husbands own us as properties. So they tend to say, our dowry, because they pay something like 2 goats, a cow, and what to own me, to move from my family to another family. That would have been like a gift. But it's not a gift, it is a dowry. You pay for something.
I understand.
Yeah, so now these guys claim, if your husband passes on, they claim our money, our wealthy. So again, a brother to my sister, a brother of the husband who passed on, had again to remarry my sister. And they gave birth to twins, these 2 girls.
So they're, okay.
So as the mother passed on when they were like 6 months, and I had to take over the responsibility.
You and your mother?
And my mother.
And how old is your mother?
My mother is making 90.
She's 90?
This year. Yeah, she's
and
making
she's
90.
still helping raise children at 90?
She can't afford, but they are there.
Let me talk to Regina now.
Yes.
How has AIDS affected your family?
Yo, I've got 2 brothers went away.
2 brothers died?
Yeah. And my son died, left 3 children.
How old was your son?
He was 35 years.
35, died of AIDS.
Yeah. We can't take them, protect them. You know how they say. Yeah.
And your son, did he have children?
Yes, he had 3 children, left
3
it
children.
staying with me. And
So
now,
you are the mother to your son's 3 children.
yeah. And now my daughter, she is also affected. And the 2 children, small ones, one is 2 years, one is 10 months. They are all on treatment. Home-based care, we say home-based care.
Home-based
we
care.
care for them at home to see that how are they taking their tablets, how are they doing, giving them food to eat. We manage them. And also, that's the same with the community. There are some, we do home-based care again, like what I do in my house. So I like it to look after those. Some, they want to take their medicine, we follow, we do follow. Then we do referring system. We refer to the clinic.
Right. Where do you get the medicine from?
From the clinic.
And how do you pay for it?
Now they are paying, it's $1.
It's $1?
Yeah, every month.
$1?
$1 for the medicine.
Okay, so who's paying for the medicine?
And Marambo is
Oh, your
paying,
organization.
Yeah,
Okay.
Marambo is paying for the medicine.
Okay. I want to ask Joanne, as you look from our very happy perch here in Canada overseas at what these grandmothers are dealing with, how do they cope? What do you see?
I see absolutely amazing, strong women. Just to put myself in the position, I'm a grandmother of 5 children. We're in Toronto. The children get education. We have no concerns about food or winter clothing or supplies for school. And when I see what they have, my grandmother sisters have or don't have, I marvel at it. I stop and think, could I do this? Could I take my 5 grandchildren into my home and care for them
As
round
their
the
mother.
clock? As their mother?
As their mother.
Yes, I could, because I would, because that's who I am, and I think most of us would. But I've got conveniences and support systems. My grandmother's sisters are just getting some support systems. And when we talk about it, we're just talking about a few of these millions of grandmothers who have the support. We have millions more who don't get it. And their perseverance, their strength, and their voices that they're beginning to develop is amazing. They're phenomenal.
Ida, how do grandmothers cope with suddenly being mothers again, many of them without the supports that Joanne just talked about.
I'll tell you that it's been a challenge, and I also want to add on what Miriam said. We do have grandmothers in the community when I've visited where a grandmother is 80 or she's 85 and has lost all children to AIDS. And she's basically depending on the community-based organization that is supported by the foundation. And so when we look at that, that grandmother is already getting tired, and maybe tomorrow or the other day, that grandmother will die. And so the important thing that the community-based organization have done in the community is that they've actually, we can say they've created part of a family. So those children see the community-based organization as their next family. And so that's why the campaign here in Canada is very, very important, because it has to make sure that the work that is happening in the communities is sustained. And the community-based organization cannot sustain these children without the support, and the support has to continue. We should not say that people are not still dying of HIV and AIDS. People are still dying of HIV and AIDS.
They are still
I just
dying.
recently did visit the projects in Zambia. I'd never visited, but I was visiting the project supported by the foundation. I was so surprised that when I visited, one of the grandmothers was lost 8 children to AIDS, and the last one died last year. And I'm like, I take medication. What happened? The challenge was that the other son was not taking the medication accordingly. And so if you are not adherent to medication, definitely you can die because complications will come. So we need counselors, and those counselors need money. And the money that you have to pay them to go and counsel them has to come from where? From the organization to support that. And so we still have challenges. Medication. People say medication is there. It is there, yes, but challenges of transportation. I've been to villages supported by the foundation where somebody to go and access the medication where the clinic is, you have to pay transport. And the foundation has ended up giving money to the community-based organizations to actually help out on transport so that people can access transport. So it's not easy. The situation is quite a challenge, but we've also achieved a lot. Because I've been in communities, I've grown up in these communities. I live with HIV and AIDS. When stigma and discrimination was there, I was there in Zambia. Yes. And there was no love, there was no peace. You walk there, they say, oh, she's living with HIV. But I'm so happy. I go back to the communities, see the grandchildren. When the grandmother is complaining in her house, a grandchild says, don't worry, grandma, I'll take care of you. I feel good. I'm like, oh, bonding has come in. They are bonding. And once we are heading towards that, we are heading towards creating health communities. I've had grandmothers who say, Ida, because this house has been rebuilt with the support of the Stephen Lewis Foundation, now I have respect in the community. Yeah. People respect me. I'm now a leader. People come to even have water. It never happened before. My whole dignity has been restored. Yes. I feel so happy as a woman living with HIV and AIDS, and so, oh wow, they now need their communities. We need our communities. Before we didn't need our communities. Our mothers were so scared to live in their own communities. And that's your community. You need to live in there. Yes. So without the support for the last 10 years, going into the communities, we would not have danced with our mothers. I feel so proud as a consultant for the Stephen Lewis Foundation. Yes. When I go in the communities and they welcome me with the dancing, I'm like, okay, it's time to dance. It is not time to cry like before, but for us to look at what is going to happen. Challenges will not stop. Challenges will ever be there. But when you are happy, you can find a way to sort out a challenge. Yes. And that has been very good. And really, we thank the grandmothers. The grandmothers campaign in Canada. They are my heroes with the work that they do. So I'm very proud of them.
This feels like a revival meeting where we should say hallelujah right now or something.
And now, maybe to add on what she was saying, that if I can say thanks to the Canadian grandmothers, these are real sisters of ours. We feel we also have parents. We feel we have a good, now we see that the flow is just smooth for us. Because if you think of dying and leaving everything scattered like that, we look at the community-based organizations. We say, please, here we are. They have created advocacy for us. We couldn't even talk in the communities. Nobody could mind about a grandmother. And now we are the people at our ages here. I can't carry a 10-year-old grandchild on my back to take to hospital. Yet these are distant places. You can find a grandchild just shivering, but you just say, come, let's continue. You're going to the hospital for services. And by the time the blood testing, every this and the other, lines are like that. You're just behind there. Nobody can say, please, old mom, can you come? But through this, our best organizations, They have created something like awareness, and can we please come first? Because we are old. Can you please help us? Because we need help.
Let me pick up on that. Joanne, in our last minute here, anybody watching this right now, if they want to help, what do they do?
Oh, call the Stephen Lewis Foundation and or online, and we're online, and get involved. We're always looking for more members to all of our groups. We have 240 groups plus across Canada. Now have groups in England and Australia. We're growing, we're expanding. The grannies have raised 25 million over our 10 years. Fabulous amount, tiny when you think of all that's needed, but still pretty terrific. We love members. We're always doing fundraising. We want all the support we can get, and awareness, awareness, awareness.
And if some people are going to watch this and they're going to say, this is hopeless. It's too big a challenge. Are they wrong?
They're wrong. No challenge is too big. Got to get in before you can start doing something. You have to see just seeing where we've come from. We started with our theme being easing the pain of HIV and AIDS in Africa. And our theme has changed to turning the tide, because it really is turning. I've been to 4 countries in the past 2 years to see where the donated dollars go, to come back and speak to groups, especially at schools. As we're getting older, we need the younger generation to get involved, to say, you know, our dollars are going to good places. We don't tell them where to use the dollars. They're grassroots projects. They tell us what they need. And it might be sewing machines in rural Ethiopia, and it's the old treadle machine with the foot pedal. But they buy them at their markets, supporting their community. And now they're making uniforms so the children can go to school and sell the items in the market so they've got an income. This is happening. It's very exciting.
Feels
Am
like
I
time.
passionate? Yes.
Feels like time for another hallelujah here.
Yes.
I want to thank all of you for coming into TVO tonight and sharing your stories with us, as personal as they have been. And of course, we all wish you well with your campaigns. Thanks so much, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Help TVO create a better world through the power of learning. Visit TVO.org and make a tax-deductible donation today.